Hello and welcome to my 2020 journal setup video. So the premise is that in the past I have kept planners and bullet journals, and I've also kept a diary in which I write my feelings and thoughts. And last year I didn't use either enough, so this year I'm going to try and combine those into one. I'm going to have pages that are for planning, and I'm also just going to have reflective pages where I write about my feelings. But I thought I would show you the setup of the start of the journal. So the notebook that I've chosen to use is a red dotted Moleskine. It's about A5. I've used both Moleskines and Lectums in the past, and I find Moleskine to be slightly higher quality, but they're about the same. I chose red because there's a book that I read every Christmas called Dash and Lily's Book of Dares, and in it they pass backwards and forwards a red Moleskine notebook, and it's one of my favourite books in the world, and I thought this would be a lovely little ode to that. So, as you can see, as I'll show you in a second, I've planned out the pages that I want to do today in pencil. I got this idea from Bookish Lindsay, and I think it's a great way to just have a rough idea of what you want to do. And there's just all these wonderful blank pages to fill. So I also decided I wanted to try and cover this notebook in vinyl stickers from some of my favourite artists. So the only one I have at the moment is this one that says Anxious but Able, from an artist that I found about on Instagram called Jess Rachel Sharp. I really love her shop, and I ordered some pin badges, and when I did I also ordered the sticker because I knew that this day would come one day. So I'm just peeling that and sticking it on the back. I decided I didn't want this to go on the front because I don't want to constantly be reminded that I'm an anxious human being, but I think this message is really great, so I'm just peeling that and then sticking it to the back of the journal, and I'm hoping to get some more stickers, I think from Lily NZST and Sharon Barton, and Adam JK, all the people that I follow on Instagram and love. I really want to try and get some vinyl stickers from them and cover this entire notebook in them, but not so much that you can't see the red, obviously. Now it's time to get started. On the first page in a Moleskine it says, "In case of loss, please return to," and then I'm just going to write my name below that, and then it asks you to leave a reward for if it's found. And I always write a $10 Starbucks voucher. I don't know why, it's just become a thing, so if you find this journal, you can have a $10 Starbucks voucher from me. I will also add my phone number, but I decided not to put that on the internet for everyone to see. So the first page in the journal doesn't quite stick down properly, so I decided to stick a solid picture in there. I've done this in the past, and I had one, and I wrote a message that said, "Leave your fears at the door," and I really liked that. But I found this photo on Pinterest that says, "I'm so happy you can't hurt me anymore," and I decided that that would just work perfectly, because that really is kind of a motto for 2020. I've been through a lot, and I've learned a lot about happiness, and I am, so deeply happy that, yeah, I like to think that, I'm happy on a deep level, and that can't be stopped. So I'm gluing that in. As you can see, I folded it up. I just like the way this adds a little bit of texture to the picture, if I'm being honest. I would recommend using a glue stick or some double-sided tape, but I didn't have any, so I'm stuck using PVA glue, and then I'm just flattening it down and sticking it in there. Wonderful. Getting started on the first proper page, I decided to write out this list of affirmations. I wrote this a while ago, and it was inspired by Caitlin Brinkley, and I found it the other day and read through them, and they are all still true, so I decided to write that in my journal so that I would be reminded of them more often, because they're all very important thoughts. And I also added some flowers around the edge for some decoration. I've posted this on my Instagram many times before, but you can pause it if you want to actually read them and get some inspiration for yourself. I find that writing them in the first person makes them feel more effective, so I've done that too. Next up is the page that I'm sure you're all super excited for. So I have some photos that I found on Pinterest. I went for quite a neutral tone was what I was aiming for, and I'm trying to make my cover page for 2020. I'm going to use that little scrap of paper, and then I'm using these stamps, and I'm writing out 2020. I couldn't decide if I wanted the second 20 to be slightly offset, which is why you see me doing two versions of it. And the image that I stick in has some text on it, says, "Grateful for all that I am, all that I have, and all that is yet to come." So I'm just sticking those in, and then we're done. And then next up is this calendar page, which I'm going to whiz through because there's really not that much to see. So I'm adding a title, and I decided to go over that with some washi tape and print out the date. Lots of stars. I love these stars. They're from Paperchase. And then I'm just writing out days of the week. I did this in my 2018 bullet journal and I actually found it really useful, just when you need to find out what day of the week a date is. And then the page that I'm working on next is a year at a glance, and the idea is that you have a little box for each month of the year, so that you can write down the main few dates of that month. But as you can see, here's where I remembered that a year has 12 months and not 9. That was a low moment, I will admit, and I wasn't sure what to do. In the end, I decided to cut another piece of paper out from an old journal and stick that over the top, but I also cut out a piece of white material, of white paper, to go underneath so that it would completely block out that 3x3 grid. I saw that if I was going to just use the dotted paper, it wouldn't be opaque enough to hide it. So I'm sticking down some white paper, and then I'm sticking down the new dotted paper on top of that. And on here, I'm drawing a grid that's actually 3x4, because it turns out that a year has 12 months and not 9. Let's just not. Let's pretend that didn't happen. So, in go the months, and sticking that in, and then it all looks wonderful. And here I'll just put the key dates of the year, as I said. Next page I actually didn't film myself making for some reason, but it's a quotes page, so I've written in some quotes that I had last year that I want again this year, and I've got plenty of space for some new quotes to think about as the year goes by to keep me focused on what I want to be thinking about. So next up is my lessons learnt in 2019 page. I have found this to be a really good exercise to do every year. It's very easy to go for a lot in a year and not reflect on it. And I've found that if you don't reflect on it, then you don't really learn the lesson. You can go through, the difficult thing that's there to teach you a lesson, but unless you actually reflect on it and say, this is what I've learnt, you're going to end up doing it again. So by, writing out what lessons I learnt, it helps me to become a better person, because I can acknowledge what happened that year and look to, work on those things. So I find that a really, really helpful exercise. And with those lessons in mind, the next job is to worry about goals. And I'm really going to use goals this year to try and increase my productivity and how much I get done. So I'm starting by writing some areas of focus. These are the things that I really want to focus on in life at the moment. This could also be read as a summary of my life. These are the things that matter to me. So, yeah, writing about that. As you can see, I've left work experience free because I don't really know what I want to write about that just yet. And stars make everything better. And then I'm writing my actual goals for 2020. I have been thinking about these for the last month or so. So I'm writing out the things that I want to achieve this year. And I'm going to work really hard to do those. And I'm going to look back at those whenever I write myself some monthly goals or some weekly goals, so I'm always working towards them. And then I decided to do something I've never done before, which is to write down some really ambitious goals. So the premise is that, sometimes in your brain you have some really ambitious goals. You think, oh my god, wouldn't it be cool if I achieved this? And I'm always thinking thoughts like that. And I decided, you know what, screw it, I'm going to write them down. So these probably won't happen. They're ridiculously ambitious. But if they're ever going to happen, they need to at least be written down. So, even if I make a few steps towards those goals, I will be very happy. And then we're on to my TBR. Books are really, really important to me. So I'm writing a list of all the books that I want to read in 2020, because I find that if I have a list of books that I want to read, then I'm, there's no reason for me not to be reading. And my TBR on Goodreads is like 150 books long. So I decided to write down the ones that I wanted to prioritise and get read soon. And yes, you can see in the background that I'm watching Everdead Ninja, and then I start watching Ruby Granger. I didn't realise that because it was on my iPad. It was so much more visible. Previously I was watching YouTube on my laptop, which you can't see the screen of. So I apologise if that's really distracting, but doing something like this is quite tedious, especially when it's all planned out. It was a case of just filling in the gaps. I really enjoyed doing this journal, but, you know, watching some YouTube while I was doing it was nice and therapeutic. So that's what's going on there. I thought we would end it all with a nice flick through. So as you can see, I've cleared my desk. And here are the pages that you saw me making earlier. I really do love that cover page, and as you can see, I added a little bit of washi tape off camera. I don't know what that cloud is doing here. That's just a printable sticker. A lot of those little things were from Cheyenne Barton, if you're wondering, as were all of these. So those are the quotes, and I said I'll add to that as the year goes by. These star stickers are from Paper Chase. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. I hope you found this interesting, seeing why I lay out my journal the way that I do, and I hope it helps give you some inspiration for your own. See you soon. Bye.